Hello, family. This is Hasanya, back with another Bible reading. Um, we're going to get right into it, beginning with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for all you're doing in the land. Thank you, Father, for who you are. Thank you for salvation that you've allowed it to your people. Thank you, Father, for placing the desire in my heart to run after you, to try to keep in stride with everything that you're doing. Thank you for the desire to get to know you, to really, 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 for the first time in my life, want to know who you are. Thank you, Father, for placing the desire in the hearts of those who come to the channel to do likewise, Father, as we delve into the Bible and read it and read it and read it and try to discern and understand. Father, open our eyes, open our spiritual eyes, open our spiritual ears, Father. Bestow wisdom and knowledge. And Father, as I always say, not in an egotistical way, but Father, in a righteous way, to just understand and be knowledgeable of what it is that you command and where we're at fault and what we need to fix. Father, bless those who would come here. Father, bless the channel. Father, open the channel so that people want to read. Make it something that is known. Father, forgive my sins. Forgive the things that I've done knowingly and unknowingly. Father, forgive and help me to shut doors that I've opened, Father, that I wasn't aware of what I was doing. Forgive my sins, Father. Forgive Yasharel, Father. Protect and guide us, Father. Put a hedge of protection around your people, Father. This time we need you. Father, just again, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Father. Thank you, and thank you, Father. I worship you, I honor you, I give you all the praise and all the glory, because you're worthy to be praised. These are all things I ask in your Son's name, Father. In your name, in your Son's name. So be it, and may it be so. All right, so again, we're in the HalleluYah scriptures. HalleluYah scriptures. And I think I left off. Sorry. I left off at Genesis 39. So we're gonna pick right up here. Genesis 39. Yes, I definitely should have already had this open to the my apologies, family, or family to be. Okay, chapter 39. And Joseph had been taken down to Mizraim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a Mitzrayite, brought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. And it came to be that Yah was with Joseph, and he became a prosperous man and was in the house of his master, the Mitzrayite. And his master saw that Yah was with him, and that Yah made all he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his eyes and served him, and he appointed him over his house and gave into his hand all that he had. And it came to be from the time that he appointed him over his house and all that he had, that Yah baraked the Mitzrayite's house for Joseph's sake. And the barakah of Yah was on all that he had in the house of and in the field. And he left in Joseph's hand all that he had, and he did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. And Joseph was handsome in form and handsome appearance. And after these events, it came to be that the master's wife lifted up her eyes to Joseph and said, "Lie with me." I'm sure she didn't say it like that. Lie with me. But he refused and said to his master's wife, "Look, my master in the house, Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has given into my hand all that he has. No one is greater in the house than I, and he has not withheld whatever from me but you, because you are his wife. And how shall I do this great evil and sin against Yah? And it came to be, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not listen to her, to lie with her, to be with her. And it came to be on a certain day when Joseph went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside, that she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." But he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside. And it came to be when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside, that she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, "See, he has brought in to us an Ibri to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and I cried out with a loud voice. And it came to be when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled and went outside. And she kept his garment with her until his master came home. And she spoke to him these same words, saying, The Ibri servant whom you brought to us came into me to mock me. So it came to be, as I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled outside. And it came to be, when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, Your servant did to me according to these words, that his displeasure burned. When Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the sovereign's prisoners were confined, and he was there in prison. But Yah was with Joseph and extended kindness to him, and he gave him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. And the prison warden gave into the hand of Joseph all the prisoners who were in the prison, and whatever was done there was his doing. The prison warden did not look into any point that was under Joseph's hand, because Yah was with him. And whatever he did, Yah made it prosper. Chapter 40. And after these events, it came to be that the cupbearer and the baker of the sovereign of Mizraim sinned against their master, the sovereign of Mizraim. And Pharaoh was wroth with his two officers, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker. So he put them in confinement in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prison, the place where Joseph was a prisoner. And the captain of the guard put Joseph in charge of them, and he served them. So they were in confinement for some time. Then the cupbearer and the baker of the sovereign of Mizraim, who were confined in the prison, dreamed a dream, both of them. Each man's dream in one night, and each man's dream was its own interpretation. And Joseph came into them in the morning and looked at them and saw that they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in confinement of his master's house, saying, Why do you look so sad today? And they said to him, We each have dreamed a dream, and there is no one to interpret it. And Joseph said to them, Do not interpretations belong to Yah? Relate them to me, please. So the chief cupbearer related his dream to Joseph and said to him, See, in my dream a vine was before me, and in the vine there were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded. Its blossoms shot forth, and its clusters brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. So I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said to him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days, Pharaoh is going to lift up your head and restore you to your place, and you shall put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, according to the former ruling, when you were his cupbearer. But remember when it is well with you, and please show kindness to me. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this house. For truly I was stolen away from the land of Ephraim, and they should put me into the dungeon. The chief baker saw the interpretation was good, and he said to Joseph, I also was in my dream and saw three white baskets were on my head, and the uppermost basket all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, and birds ate them out of the basket on my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation of it. The three baskets are 3 days, yet within 3 days Pharaoh is going to lift off your head from you and hang you on a tree, and the birds shall eat your flesh from you. And on the third day, Pharaoh's birthday, it came to be that he made a feast for all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and of the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief cupbearer to his post of cupbearer again, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them, and the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. And it came to be at the end of 2 years' time that Pharaoh had a dream and saw him standing by the river, and saw 7 cows come up out of the river, fine looking and fat, and they fed amongst the reeds. Then saw 7 other cows coming up after them out of the river, ugly and lean of flesh, and stood by the other cows on the bank of the river. And the ugly and lean of flesh cows ate up the 7 fine looking and fat cows. Then Pharaoh awoke. And he slept and dreamed a second time, and saw 7 heads of grain come up on one stalk, plump and good, and saw 7 lean heads scorched by the east wind coming up after them. And the 7 lean heads swallowed the 7 plump and complete heads. Then Pharaoh awoke and saw it was a dream, and it came to be in the morning that his spirit was moved, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Mizraim and all its wise men. And Pharaoh related to them his dreams, but there was no one who could interpret them for the Pharaoh. Then the chief cupbearer spoke to Pharaoh, saying, I remember my crimes this day, when Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in confinement in the house of the captain of guard, both me and the chief baker. Each one of us dreamed a dream in one night, he and I. Each of us dreamed according to the interpretation of his own dream. And there was with us an Ibri youth, a servant of the captain of the guard, and we related to him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. To each man he interpreted according to his own dream. And it came to be as he interpreted for us, so it came to be. He restored me to my office, and he hanged him. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they hurriedly brought him out of the dungeon, and he shaved and changed his garments and came to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is no one to interpret it. Now I myself have heard it said that you understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. Let Yah answer Pharaoh with peace. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, See, in my dream I stood on the bank of the river, and saw 7 cows coming up out of the river, fine looking and fat, and they fed amongst the reeds. Then 7 other cows coming up after them, poor and very ugly and lean of flesh, such ugliness as I have never seen in all the land of Mizraim. And the lean of the flesh and ugly cows ate up the first 7, and 7 the fat cows. Yet when Yet when they had eaten them up, no one would have known that they had eaten them, for they were as ugly as at the beginning. Then I awoke. Also I looked in my dream, and saw 7 heads coming up on one stalk, complete and good. Then saw 7 heads withered, lean, scorched by the east wind, coming up after them. And the lean heads swallowed the 7 heads, good heads. Then I spoke to magicians, but there was no one who could explain it to me. And Joseph said to Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. Yah has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads are 7 years. It is one dream. And the 7 lean and ugly cows which came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty heads scorched by the east wind are 7 years of scarcity of food. This is the word which I spoke to Pharaoh. Yah has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. See, 7 years of great plenty are coming in all the land of Mitzrayim, but after them 7 years of scarcity of food shall arise, and all the plenty be forgotten in the land of Mitzrayim. And the scarcity of food shall destroy the land, and the plenty shall not be remembered in the land because of the scarcity of food follow, for it is very severe. And the dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice, because the word is established by Yah, and Yah is hastening to do it. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man, and appoint him over the land of Mitzrayim. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint overseers over the land to take up 1/5 of the land of Mitzrayim in the 7 years of plenty. And let them gather all the food of those good years that are coming, and store up grain under the hand of Pharaoh. And let them keep food in the cities, and the food shall be for a store for the land for the 7 years of scarcity of food, which shall be in the land of Mitzrayim. And do not let the land be cut off by the scarcity of food. And the word was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, could we find another like him, a man in whom is the ruah of Yah? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since Yah has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. Be over my house, you yourself, and at your word all my people shall be equipped. Only in the throne am I greater than you. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, see, I have appointed you over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh took his sealing ring off his hand and put it on Joseph's hand. And he dressed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. And he had him ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried out before him, bow the knee. And he appointed him over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without you let no man lift his hand or foot in all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name to Saphnath Paneah, and he gave him as a wife Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out over the land of Mitzrayim. Now Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. And in the 7 years of plenty, the ground brought forth generously. And he gathered all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Mitzrayim, and laid up the food in the cities. He laid up in every city the food of the fields which surrounded them. Thus Joseph gathered very much grain, as the sand of the sea, until he ceased counting, for it was without number. And to Joseph were born 2 sons before the year of scarcity of food came, when Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, and for Yah has made me forget all my toil in all my father's house. And the name of the second he called Ephraim, for Yah has called me to bear fruit in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenty which were in the land of Mitzrayim came to an end, and the 7 years of scarcity of food began to come. And Joseph had said, and the scarcity of food was in all lands, but in all the land of Mitzrayim there was bread. But when all the land of Mitzrayim hungered, And the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to all the Mitzrites, "Go to Joseph, do whatever he says to you." And the scarcity of food was over all the faces of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Mitzrites. And the scarcity of food was severe in the land of Mitzrayim. And all the earth came to Joseph and Mitzrayim to buy grain, because the scarcity of food was severe in all the earth. Okay, chapter 42. And when Yaakov saw that there was grain in Mitzrayim, Yaakov said to his sons, "Why do you look at each other?" And he said, "See, I have heard that there is grain in Mitzrayim. Go down to that place and buy for us there, and let us live and not die." And Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Mitzrayim. But Yaakov did not send Joseph's brothers, Benjamin, with his brothers, for he said, "Lest some harm come to him." And the sons of Israel, of Yasharel, went to buy grain among those who journeyed, for the scarcity of the food in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he was the one who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted as a stranger to them and spoke to them harshly and said to them, "Where do you come from?" And they said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed about them, and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land." And they said to him, "No, my master, but your servants have come to buy food. We are all one man's sons. We are trustworthy. Your servants are not spies." But he said to them, "No, but you have come to see the nakedness of the land." And they said, "Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And see, the youngest is with our father today, and one is no more." And Joseph said to them, It is as I spoke to you, saying, "You are spies." By this you shall be proven. By the life of Pharaoh, you do not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you and let him bring your brother while you are kept in prison. So let your words be proven, to see whether there is any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh you are spies. And he put them all together in prison for 3 days. Now Joseph said to them, the third day, "Do this and live, for I revere Yah. If you are trustworthy, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison house, and you go and bring grain for the scarcity of food of your houses, and bring your youngest brother to me, and let your words be confirmed, and you do not die." And so they did. And they said to each other, "Truly, we are guilty concerning our brother, for we saw the distress of his life when he pleaded with us, yet we did not listen. That is why this distress has come upon us." And Reuben answered them, saying, Did I not speak to you, saying, "Do not sin against the boy," and you would not listen? And see, his blood is now required of us. And they did not know that Joseph understood them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. And he turned himself away from them and wept, but came back to them and spoke to them. And he took Shimon from them and bound him before their eyes. And Joseph commanded, and they filled their sacks with grain, also to put back every man's silver into his sack. And Joseph commanded, and they filled their sacks with grain, also to put back every man's silver into his sack, and to give them food for the journey. And thus it was done for them. So they loaded their donkeys with the grain and went from there. And as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey fodder at the loading place, he saw his silver for there it was in the mouth of his sack. And he said to his brother, My silver has been returned, and there it is in my sack. And their hearts sank, and they were afraid, saying to each other, What is this that Yah has done to us? So they came to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and reported to him all that befell them, saying, The man, the master of the land, spoke to us harshly, and took us for spies of the land. But we said to him, We are trustworthy, we are not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more, and the youngest is today with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the master of the land, said to us, By this I know that you are trustworthy. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for the scarcity of food of your households, and go. And bring your youngest brother to me, that I know that you are not spies, but that you are trustworthy. I give your brother to you, and you move about in the land. And it came to be, as they emptied their sacks, that, look, the bundle of each man's silver was in his sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of silver, they were afraid. And Jacob, their father, said to them, You have bereaved me. Joseph is no more, and Shimon is no more, and all would take Benjamin. All this is against me. So Reuben spoke to his father, saying, Take the lives of my two sons, if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I myself bring him back to you. But he said, My son is not going down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If any harm should come to him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave. Chapter 43. But the scarcity of food was severe in the land, and it came to be, when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Mizraim, that their father said to them, Go back, buy us a little food. But Yehudah spoke to him, saying, The man vehemently warned us, saying, You do not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you let our brother go with us, we go down and buy you food. But if you do not let him go, we do not go down, because the man said to us, You do not see my face unless your brother is with you. And Yasharel said, Why do you do evil to me, to inform the man that you had a brother? And they said, The man kept asking about us and our relatives, saying, Is your father still alive? How have you a brother? And we informed him according to those words. How could we know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Yehudah said to Yasharel, his father, Send the boy with me, and let us arise and go, and live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I myself shall stand guarantor for him. From my hand you are to require him. If I do not bring him back to you and put him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For if we had not delayed, truly by now we could have returned this second time. And their father Israel said to them, If so, then do this. Take some of the best fruit of the land in your vessels, and bring a present down for the man, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double silver in your hand, and take back in your hand the silver that was returned in the mouth of your sacks. It could have been a mistake. And take your brother and arise, go back to the man, and El Shaddai give to you compassion before the man, so that he shall release your other brother in Benjamin. And I, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved. And the men took that present and Benjamin, and they took double the amount of silver in their hand, and arose and went down to Mitzrayim and stood before Joseph. And Joseph saw Benjamin with them, and said to the one over his house, Bring the men home, and make a great slaughter, and prepare, for these men are to eat with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph said, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, "It is because of the silver which was put back into our sacks the first time that we are brought in, to throw himself upon us and fall upon us, to take us as slaves, our donkeys too." So they came near to the man over the house of Joseph, and spoke to him at the door of the house, and said, "O my master, we indeed came down the first time to buy food. But it came to be, when we came to the lodging place, that we opened our sacks, and saw each man's silver in the mouth of his sack, our silver in its weight, and we have brought it back to our hand. And we have brought down our silver in our hands to buy food. We do not know who put our silver in our sacks." But he said, "Peace be with you. Do not be afraid. Your Yah and the Yah of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. Your silver had come to me." And he brought Shimon out to them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their donkeys fodder. And they made the present ready for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard that they were to eat there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed down before him to the earth. And he asked them about their welfare, and said, "Is your father well? And the old man of whom you spoke, is he still alive?" And they said, "Your servant, our father, is in good health, and he is still alive." And they bowed their heads down and did obeisance. And he lifted his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your younger brother of whom you spoke to me?" And he said, "Yah show favor to you, my son." And Joseph hurried, for his emotions were deeply moved toward his brother. And he looked to weep, and went into his room and wept there. Then he washed his face, and came out, and controlled himself, and said, "Serve the food." And they placed him by himself, and them by themselves, and the Mizrahites who ate with him by themselves. For the Mizrahites could not eat food with the Ibrim, for that is abomination to the Mizrahites. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright. Okay. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men looked at each other in astonishment. And he took portions to them from before him, but Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they feasted, and they drank with him. Chapter 44. And he commanded the one over his house, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with food as they are able to bear, and put each man's silver in the mouth of his sack. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest, and the silver for his grain." And he did according to the word of Joseph, which he spoke. And as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. And when they had gone out of the city, not having gone far, Joseph said to the one over his house, "Rise up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, Why have you repaid evil for good? Is this not the one from which my master drinks, and with which he indeed divines? You have done evil in what you have done." So he overtook them, and spoke these words to them. And they said to him, "Why does my master say these words? For far be it from us that your servants should do according to this word. See, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the silver which we found in the mouth of our sacks. How then should we steal silver or gold from your master's house? With whomever of your servants it is found, he shall die, and we shall become more my master's slaves as well." And he said, "Now also let it be according to your words. He whom it is found becomes my slave, and you are innocent." And they heard each man let down his sack to the ground and open his sack. And he searched with the oldest first, and with the youngest last, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And they tore their garments, and each man loaded his donkey and went back to the city. And Yehuda and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there. And they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said to them, "What deed is this you have done? Do you not know that a man like me indeed divines?" And Yehuda said, "What do we say to my master? What do we speak? How do we clear ourselves? Yah has found out the wickedness of your servants. See, we are my master's slaves, but we and he also with whom the cup was found." But he said, "Far be it from me to do this. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he becomes my slave, and you go up to in peace to your father." And Yehuda came near to him and said, "O my master, please let your servant speak a word in my master's hearing, and do not let your displeasure burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh." My master asked his servants, saying, "Have you a father or a brother?" And we said to my master, "We have a father, an old man, and a young brother of his old age, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves him." And you said to your servants, "Bring him down to me, and let me lay my eyes on him." And we said to my master, "The boy is not able to leave his father, for if he leaves his father shall die." But you said to your servants, "Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you do not see my face again." And it came to be, when we went up to your servant, my father, that we told him the words of my master. And our father said, "Go back and buy us a little food." But we said, "We are not able to go down. If our youngest brother is with us, then we shall go. Well, then we shall go. If we are not able to see the man's face unless our younger brother is with us." Then your servant, my father, said to us, "You know that my wife bore me two sons, and the one went out from me, and I said, Truly, he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. And if you take this one from me, and harm comes to him, you shall bring down my gray hair with evil to the grave. And now if I come to your servant my father, and the boy is not with us, since his own life is bound up in his life, then it shall be, when he sees that the boy is not with us, that he shall die. So your servants shall bring down the gray hair of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant went guarantor for the boy to my father, saying, If I do not bring him back to you, then I shall be a sinner before my father forever. And now please let your servant remain instead of the boy as a slave to my master, and let the boy go up with us with his brothers. For how do I go up to my father if the boy is not with me, lest I see the evil that would come upon my father? Chapter 45. And Joseph was unable to restrain himself before all those who stood before him, and he called out, Have everyone go out from me. So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Mizrites and the house of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers were unable to answer him, for they trembled before him. Then Joseph said to his brothers, Please come near to me. And when they came near, he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Mitzrayim. And now do not be grieved nor displeasured with yourselves, because you sold me here, for Yah sent me before you to preserve life. For 2 years now, the scarcity of food has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there is neither plowing nor harvesting. And Yah sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant in the earth, and to give life to you by a great escape. And so then you did not send me here, but Yah, and he has appointed me for a father to Pharaoh and master of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. Hurry and go up to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph, Yah has made me master of all Mitzrayim. Come down to me, do not delay, and you shall in the land of Goshen and you shall dwell in the land of Goshen and be near to me, you and your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. And I shall provide for you there, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, because 5 years of scarcity of food are still to come. And look, your eyes and the eyes of your brother Benjamin see that it is my mouth that speaks to you, and you shall inform my father of all my esteem in Mitzrayim and of all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my father down here. And he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck, and he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that his brothers spoke with him, and the report of it was heard by the house of Pharaoh, saying, The brothers of Joseph have come. And it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to your brothers, Do not do this, load your beasts and go into the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households and come to me. And I give you the best of the land of Mitzrayim, and you eat the fatness of the land. And you have been commanded, do this, take wagons out of the land of Mitzrayim for your little ones and your wives, and you shall bring your father and come. Okay, and do not be concerned about the goods, for the best of all the land of Mitzrayim is yours. And the sons of Yasharel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them food for the journey, and he gave to all of them, to each man changes of garments. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father 10 donkeys loaded with the best of Mitzrayim, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they left. And he said to them, Do not quarrel along the way. And they went up out of Mitzrayim and came to the land of Canaan to Jacob their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Jacob's heart ceased, for he did not believe them. But when they spoke to him all the words which Joseph had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to transport him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Yasharel said, Enough. My son Joseph is still alive. Let me go and see him before I die. Okay. Let me see if I can get through. Okay, so we're going to stop here at chapter 46, because it's a ways to chapter 47, and it's going to take more than 2 minutes. So we're going to stop here at chapter 46, and we will pick up tomorrow at Bereshith chapter 46. Thank you for reading with me. See you tomorrow.